Alright guys, it's your favorite teacher. Let's talk about how to multiply polynomials. So we're going to talk about how to multiply a monomial times a polynomial today. We're going to talk about the distributive property of polynomials. And then next lesson we'll get into the FOIL and a box method. Alright, so looking at how to multiply two polynomials together. Okay, this is a monomial, just again to review, one term. Monomial times one term monomial. So I have it written out. A squared is a times a, and then a to the third is a times a times a. Alright, well I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a's. They're all multiplied together. So my answer is a to the fifth. So now notice that I am changing my exponent here. Last lesson we talked about how to add and subtract polynomials, and I told you don't touch that exponent, just change the coefficient. Now when we are multiplying, we are changing the exponent. I've got a squared times a to the third. I have a times itself 5 times, so I have a to the fifth. Looking at example number 2, I have 4x squared, so I could write that as 4 times x, and I'm multiplying that by a negative 3 x to the fourth. So that's negative 3 times x times x times x times x. So now what's my answer? Okay, well I've got 4 times negative 3. That's going to give me a negative 12. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X multiplied by itself 6 times. Not 6x, x to the 6, because it's multiplying it by itself 6 times. Same thing here. I've got 5w squared y, so I've got 5 times w times y. And then I have 6w cubed, so 6w times w times w. Alright, 5 times 6 is 30. And then I have w times w times w times w times w, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, w to the fifth. And then I just have 1y, so y to the first, don't have to write the 1. Rock and roll, 2 to the third, that would be 2 times 2 times 2. And then 3 squared would be times 3 times 3. Alright, so I've got 3 times 3, that's going to give me 9. And I've got 2 times 2 times 2, that's going to give me 8. So now I've got 8 times 9. 8 times 9 is, yeah, you guessed it, 81. No, 72. So then what general rule can you determine from the pattern above when multiplying monomials? Okay, so I'm going to multiply the monomials, so what general rule can be applied? Alright, well let's look here. I've got a times a times a times a times a, so I have a squared, and then I have a to the third. Okay, well how did I get a to the fifth? Well, all I got to do is take the 2 and the 3 and add them together. So you're going to add exponents. When the base variables are the same, then add the exponents. So when my base variables are the same, like here, a and a would be my base variable, I'm going to add my exponents. 2 plus 3 is that. When multiplying monomials, what do you do with the coefficients? Well, let's look. I did 4 times negative 3 and I got negative 12. I did 5 times 6 and I got 30. So I'm going to multiply the coefficients. I'm going to add the exponents but multiply the coefficients. I know, confusing, right? Alright, let's go down and let's look at the distributive property. Okay, well going back, we talked about the distributive property last time. That means to multiply. So when I'm distributing my a, just like I distribute a number, a times a is a squared, or a times a, and then a times b is ab. So my answer is a times a, which is a squared, plus ab. You cannot combine those. If I was to do it here, same thing, I'm going to distribute. So a cubed and a to the second power. So I've got a cubed, 1, 2, 3, times a squared, 1, 2, plus a cubed times ab. So a, which is a cubed, and then times AB. All right, well, let's figure out what my answer is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not 5a, it's a times itself 5 times, so a to the 5th, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, a to the 4th, b. All right, rock and roll. Here we go. I've got 4a cubed, so let's write it out. 4a times a times a, and I'm multiplying it by a 1/2 a squared, so a times a. Minus 4 times 2, sorry, 4a cubed, so let's go and write it out. 4a times a times a, and then times a negative 2. I've already got the negative, so 2ab. All right, let's look at what we got. 4 times 1/2, that's going to give me a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a to the 5th. And then minus 4 times 2, which is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, a to the 4th, b. Easy breezy. All right, let's look at some examples. I got 6 of them for you. I'm going to distribute here, so 3 times 7x. Well, I've got to multiply my coefficients, so 3 times 7, that gives me 21. And then x plus 3 times 5, which is 15. Cannot combine those. Those are not like terms. All right, let's go here. I've got 3b times 3b. So multiply your coefficients. 3 times 3 is 9. b times b is b squared. Again, change your exponents. Now I'm going here. I've got 3b times 8. That's a positive 24b. Cannot combine those because that's b squared and that's b to the first power. Those are not like terms. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. 12a times 2a is 24a squared. Okay, again, when you are multiplying, you multiply your coefficients and you add your exponents. So this is a to the first, 1 plus 1 is 2. Right? All right, so here we go. And then I've got 12a times a negative 7. That's a negative 84a. Again, those are not like terms. You cannot combine. Multiply, I get negative 8x squared minus 5x. Here we go. Multiply those. I'm distributing, so I get a negative 2x squared plus negative 2 times negative 5. Negative times a negative is a positive, plus 10x. Same thing here. We're distributing, so I get a negative 3x squared minus, I'm just going to leave it as 10/3 x.